GRTS News.
As part of their commitment to complement government's efforts in keeping the country clean, the people of Combo North, led by the paramount chief on Saturday, embarked on a massive cleansing exercise in Lemon Village, Gam Petroleum premises and Mandinari, and the airport entrance. Among the scores of people were the Secretary General, Minister for Presidential Affairs, Secretary to Cabinet, Youth and Sports Minister, among others. We have more in this report by Mama J. As the old saying goes, he who feels it knows it better. Well, if we are to put that with a statement into context, let's follow up on the engineers at the National Water and Electricity Company, as some of you have had tough times without electricity these days. However, there seems to be light at the end of the tunnel, as NAWEC officials are working tirelessly to wind up routine maintenance work on the Brikama power plant in order to drastically minimize the frequent power outages in the Greater Banjul area.
And water provider NAWEC has recently embarked on maintenance work at its Brikama power plant. The purpose of the maintenance, as the company's power generation director stated, is not due to a breakdown of any part of this 9-megawatt generator. Instead, it is done as recommended by the manufacturer, although this is causing difficulties for NAWEC with regards to meeting the electricity demands of customers.
This particular engine is the biggest unit that we have in the Gambia, and it being down today is as a result of the 12,000 hours major overhaul as per the recommendations of the manufacturer. It's difficult because having this engine out of the system leaves a very big gap. You know that we are struggling to meet the demand, much more when you have your biggest unit out of the system. But notwithstanding, we have been entrusted not only with the responsibility of operating these facilities, but also maintaining them on behalf of the taxpayers.
The power generation director also mentioned that NAWEC is working tirelessly on this task because even with this engine on, generation and distribution of power in the Greater Banjul area and West Coast region is a very eminent challenge.
Even with this engine on, normally we do load shedding. So with this engine out of the system, you will experience more load shedding. That means a lot of areas will have to be out for quite some time. But we always try to make sure that we equitably distribute the available capacity.
As maintenance is currently taking place at the site, the plant's maintenance manager, Aliuba, stated that they are working on several issues which include cleaning the engine's bearing, pistons, cylinder heads, and other parts.
You can see here we have dismantled most of the parts that is recommended by the manufacturer to be dismantled. We have a whole list of jobs that we are supposed to follow and make sure each and every one of them is being performed. You know, that is the cylinder liners. We have to take them out, clean them, hone them. You know, the piston and the rings, we have to clean the piston, we have to replace the rings, you know, as recommended also by the manufacturer.
But further emphasized that this task is done as recommended by the manufacturers, and as such urge the public to bear its burden with NAWEC.
The general public have to bear with us. This it's normally we have to do it every now and then. You know, this is the first major overhaul of the engine that we have to do. You know, as recommended by the manufacturer. If we did not do it, we may run into some problems. They have more experience as far as this particular engine is concerned. So if they advise us that periodically we have to do this particular maintenance, we have no choice but to do it.
As the electricity demand is usually high during this time of the year due to the rise in temperature, Fatojo also appealed to the public to bear with NAWEC the inconveniences this maintenance work may bring.
What I can say is just to appeal to our customers to bear with us, because it is very difficult, and human nature is such that people are only interested in the end product. How that product or service is provided is not their concern. But then all the same, all that we are doing is in the best interest of this country, in the best interest of our customers, because we will fail in our responsibilities if we don't do the maintenance or the necessary intervention as when it is needed.
Regarding other avenues considered in order to remedy the country's continuous high electricity demands, the power generation manager has this to say.
We know that without the development of the electricity or energy sector, there cannot be any meaningful development. And this has been recognized by His Excellency the President, Sheikh Professor Alhaji Yahya Ejeji Jammeh, and he's giving us all the support to ensure that this problem is solved once and for all. And in this direction, the government has secured funding for an additional capacity of 20 megawatts, which is going to be installed in this place as the second phase of the project.
Electricity plays a very important role in any country's overall development, and Ramadan, which is just a few days away, also increases its demand in the Gambia. Therefore, maintenance work on this generator and efforts to further increase NAWEC's generation and distribution capacity by an extra 20 megawatts may arrest such constraints of the company. Mama J, GRTS.
One woman has given birth to quadruplets, 2 boys, 2 girls at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital in Banjul. The delivery has been hailed by medical practitioners as rare in the history of deliveries at the elite hospital. After the time of writing this report, the mother and the babies were in good shape, although under doctor's observation. Our Abdullah Bajet tells us more about rare feat by a largely unknown woman.
It's rare seeing a mother give birth to quadruplets, which simply is 4 children in the same pregnancy. That is the scenario that gripped the attention of the national broadcaster when a pregnant mother gave birth to 4 children at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital in Banjul. To a lot of people, this is a miracle as it hardly occurs. Dr. Patrick Udoko, who took part in the process, described the delivery as a success, saying this development hasn't happened in the history of the hospital in ages.
Having a quadruplet, that's a woman with 4 babies, is not a very common phenomenon. It happens very, very rarely. Maybe about 1 in 700 or so deliveries. And I think in the past 3 years, this is the first one we've had here. Probably longer than that, but I can say for the past 3 years.
The mother of the babies expressed happiness to having been blessed with the children. She, however, said that her expectations before delivery were triplets. The challenge she now faces is taking care of the children, but with her family around, she would surely get the help she needs. 2 of the newborns, 2 boys and 2 girls, are in a sound health status, but the other 2 are under close observation, according to Dr. Idoka.
2 of them came out with very good birth weights, so they are with her now, and then the other 2, the birth weights were a bit low. They are being managed by the experts at the other side of the hospital in the pediatric unit, so I think you could take a look at the babies. So because their weights are low, there are complications we expect in them. But we're also very sure that the pediatricians will be able to handle.
The birth of these 4 babies has reignited calls for pregnant women to join antenatal services in order to reduce the risk of unwanted complications. Measures such as scans also aid doctors to better prepare ahead of deliveries.
The fact that this woman has 4 babies underscores the need for pregnant women to have a scan early in pregnancy, because it's in the early pregnancy that we're able to determine whether she's having twins or triplets or even quadruplets, as we've seen in this case. And then the other thing is the need for proper antenatal care. This woman booked elsewhere, but once they realized that this was an abnormal pregnancy, she was referred to us. So I think those people in the clinic where she booked earlier on did a good job. Now she's had her babies. The major challenge she's going to have now is feeding the children very well, and most likely she's not going to be able to produce enough breast milk to feed them. Usually for twins or triplets she might be able to, but for quadruplets it may be a big challenge. But we're watching to see if she's able to do it, fine. If not, we'll quickly want to advise on supplementing the feed. There's going to also be a lot of emotional challenge and also difficulty with raising all 4 children. I think she will need a lot of help with raising the children.
A trainee nurse who was also involved in the delivery also reinforced a similar message.
Being new in the department and then also on training, and then having the opportunity to deliver 4 babies